Hey guys, welcome to Laratips. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to upload the Laravel project to a dedicated server. Here in this tutorial, I'll be using DigitalOcean, but you can use AWS EC2 instance or anything. Whenever you log into a DigitalOcean dashboard, you can see on the left hand side a list of projects if you have created, or if you haven't created, then it will show here empty. Just click here on the new project and click the name of the project. Let's say Laravel like this. And in a purpose, we'll just see here website or blog and we'll just create a project. It is saying here move resources into Laravel. We don't need to do this. Let us just click on skip for now. Now here we'll see this page. Just click here on the get started with a droplet. And here we'll just choose the basic one, the regular Intel SSD and $5 per month with 1 GB of RAM and 1 core CPU, 25 GB SSD disk and 1000 GB transfer or bandwidth. And let me just scroll down, and if you are located in any of this country or you are nearby this country, just select the one that is nearest to you. But in this case I am just selecting New York because it is just for testing purpose. And we'll just keep this unchecked, but if you want these additional features then just click on them. So here we'll use SSH key, we'll not use the password. And here it is showing me this Laratips because I have already created SSH key before. So I'll just uncheck it and I'll create a new SSH key here. And you can see on the right hand side here we can just copy this code and we'll go here in the terminal and go inside this .ssh directory. Just do cd like this and just enter into this SSH directory and just paste that ssh-keygen and hit enter. And here it will ask for the file name, and if you have multiple projects then just give it the name of that project. So here we'll give Laravel like this, and for now we'll not add any password. The SSH key has been created. Now we have to just copy the contents of the public SSH key into this box. So here we'll say cat laravel.pov like this, and here we can see the public SSH key content. So here we'll paste it, and here I'll give here Laravel like this, and I'll just add that SSH key over here, and this is automatically selected. And just keep everything as default. Here also you can change the name if you want. I'll just keep them as default, and if you want to enable the backups, which is $1 per month, then you can do that. So here I'll create a droplet. Now it will take some time to create a droplet, and I'll be back when it is created. The droplet is now created and we have this IP address. Now we have to log into this server using SSH. Now let's see how to do that. So here, let me just clear it, and in the same .ssh directory, just create a file name config. So you just do .config like this. I have already created this. I'll just show you the content of this file. So I'll say vi config like this, and it will open that file. And now here I'll just paste some code over here. So you can see here hostname, user and identifier file. So this hostname you can give whatever name that you want. We'll use this to SSH into the server. So this IP address is the same IP address that we can see here. The username is root because whenever we create a droplet, our user root is automatically created. And this identity file is this one from the home directory .ssh/laravel. And this is the private key path. Whenever we executed the command ssh-keygen, it created two files, Laravel and laravel.pub. The content of the public file we added to the droplet in the DigitalOcean dashboard, and the private key we'll add here. And you should not share your private key to anyone. Just keep it to your computer. So now I'll just save it. Now I'll just do SSH and then the name of the host, which is Laravel. And it will ask me, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Then I'll just say here yes. Then you can see here we have successfully logged in to the server. I'll clear this, and whenever you run who am I, then you can see here the current user is root, or you can also see here the user is root. So we have now successfully logged into our server. Whenever we log in, first of all we need to update it. So we'll say here sudo update and sudo apt upgrade -y. Whenever we write -y, then it will not ask us yes or no question. Everything is now updated. Now let me just copy this IP address from here and just paste it over here. And here we'll see this site can't be reached because we haven't installed any server. So we'll install Nginx server. So let me go here in this link, and I'll be leaving this link just below that like button. This is the link to the PPA of the Nginx, and whenever we install this, we'll be able to get the latest version of Nginx. I'll just copy this and let me clear it and paste it over here and hit enter. The Nginx stable PPA has been added. Now we can run this sudo apt get update. But before that, let us also add a PPA for the PHP. If we do not add the PPA, then it will take, I think, 7.4 version of the PHP. But if we add this PPA, then we can install the PHP version 8. So I'll just copy this, and I'll be leaving this link as well just below that like button. And here I'll just paste it and hit enter. And again we have to hit enter. Now for the PHP also PPA is added. Now we can run this sudo apt get update. So now everything has been added. Now let us install the Nginx. And guys, I'll be leaving all these commands step by step just below that like button in the description. Nginx is also installed. We can verify this by saying here curl localhost like this, and we can see this HTML over here. And if I go here in the browser and reload, then you can see here welcome to Nginx, which means that our server is running now. Also, you can just do here sudo service Nginx status, and you will see here this active running status. So now the Nginx is installed. All the configuration file for it is located inside this etc Nginx folder. And if I show you all the files, and you can see here all the files is located over here. So this is the file that we need to look into. So let us just see over here nginx.conf. So you can see here all these things are over here, and here at the bottom, so you can see here it is including all the files inside this conf.d directory that is ending with .conf, and also it is including all the files that are located inside this sites enabled. So we can add a new file in this directory, sites enabled directory, or this conf.d directory, and we can just configure it as per our requirement. So there is also one default file located in this directory, and we can modify that as well. But let's say we have multiple websites in a same server, then we have to create multiple files. But in this tutorial, I'll be only showing you for one website. So I'll just exit this, and let me just go to sites enabled and list the files. So you can see here the default file. So this is not actually the file, but it is pointing to the file which is located inside this sites available, and whose name is also our default. So if I just go back one directory and sites available, and if I just show you the list file, so you can see here this is the actual file. So we have to edit this, then everything that we change here will take effect. So I'll just open it by Vim. So you can see here all the content of this file. So let me just go to the top for now. So here you can see here it is listening to the port 80, which is HTTP, and this is the default server, which means that whenever we enter the IP address or the domain that we add to our DigitalOcean, it will listen to that. And this weird syntax is for IPv6, and I haven't configured it, so I'll just delete it, and you can also delete that. But if you need that, then you can just add it over here. And everything over here for SSL certificate configuration, but we'll not see that in this tutorial. And you can see here this root is pointing to a folder which is var www.html. And the thing that you are seeing here in the browser is coming from this HTML folder. And in this folder, it is looking for these files. And by default, whenever we install the Nginx, this file will be present in this HTML folder. So it will just display this HTML file, which is this. I'll show you that as well. And you can see here the server name is _. So if you only have one domain, then you can just keep it as it is. But if you have multiple domains, then you can write the name of the domain over here. So let's say our domain name is laravel.com. So we'll write here laravel.com and www.laravel.com. But here I'll just leave it as it is. So this location slash is saying that whenever we visit our website, it will try the URL whatever we have entered over here. So for now it will just try this IP address, and if it is not present, then it will look inside the directory, and if there also it is not present, then it will just show the 404 file. So let's say here /random, then it is showing us this 404, because first of all it looked at this file but it didn't find, and then again it looked at this directory, then the directory is also not present, so it is showing us this 404. We'll modify this a little bit later, and you can see here all this code over here, and I'll explain you whenever we will configure it for the Laravel. So I'm just showing you briefly what these are. So here I'll just close this file for now. Now let us install all the PHP extensions that we need to run Laravel. I'll paste the code over here, and as I have said earlier, I'll be leaving this code in the description. So I'm just doing here sudo apt install -y, and I'm adding this -y so that I don't have to write yes for all these extensions and all the name of the extensions that we need for Laravel. So I'll hit here enter. apt install command not found. So I mistakenly added this hyphen over here. We don't have to write this hyphen. So I'll remove this hyphen and press on enter. Now that all the PHP extensions are installed, now we need to install Composer. But before that, let us see where PHP is installed. So it is inside cd/etc php. And if I just list out the files, then you can see here 8.0. And if I just list out 8.0, then you can see here everything that is installed over here. I'll not go deep into all the folders, but you can see that it is installed over here. Now let us install Composer. So this is the Composer website, and you can install the Composer from here, just going to the downloads. I'll be leaving this link just below the like button as well. So I'll just copy this code, the first line, and I'll go here and I'll just go to the home directory cd tilde and I'll paste it over here. It will not show any feedback, but this code has run successfully. And I'll just copy all the content in this second line and I'll paste it over here. The installer is verified. So whenever I ran this first command, then it just added this composer setup.php file in this folder. So if I show you here, composer setup.php is over here. Now we have to run this third command, but don't just run this command directly. I'll just paste a code over here so you can add it like this. If you do it like this, then you can just access the composer by writing just composer. Otherwise you have to write composer.far and just install this in the user bin directory so that you will be able to access the composer from anywhere. Now you can see composer is already installed, and I forgot to show you the Nginx version and PHP version. So let me show you that also. Nginx version is 1.18.0 and PHP version is, you can see here, 8.0.9, and composer version is, I think you have already seen that. So let me just run it as a sudo 2.1.5. So it is just saying us not to run this composer as a sudo user, because whenever you install any third-party packages, then they will all have the root access. So for that it is saying us not to install the composer as a root. And here we are only looking at the version, so it doesn't matter. Okay, now we have already set up Nginx, which is the server, the PHP, which is required to run Laravel, and the composer, which is required to install the dependencies of the PHP. And again, let me show you the content of that Nginx file. So here I'll say vi etc nginx sites that available and default. And you can see here all the files and folders are located in this var.html directory. And since we were the root user whenever installing everything is only accessible by the root user. But now we'll create a new user which will be able to access all the website related data only. So let me just quit this. We'll create a user named Laravel. I'll give it a password, and we can just hit enter on all of these. And we should also give the sudo privileges to this user, because we want that user to access all the root permissions by using sudo command. Now if you go inside /home, and if I show you the content, then you can see here the user is present over here. And whenever this user logs in, then he or she will be automatically sent inside this folder. If we create a SSH key for them as well and provide it to them, then they will use that SSH key, and whenever they log in, they will just be shown whatever is inside this Laravel directory. So let me go inside that. So this is the user, and now I'll log in as a Laravel user. So I'll say here su Laravel like this. Whenever I am logged in as a root user, then I can log in as another user by using the su command. And after su, you should write the name of the user. And if I just type pwd, then you can see here we are inside this Laravel directory. Now let us install the project over here. You can just clone a Laravel repository and add it over here, but I'll add default Laravel project. So I'll just go to the browser and I'll just copy this and paste it over here, and I forgot to copy C, and let me give the name as Laravel as well, but it can be anything. It can be, let's say, xyz.com or anything that you want. So now I'll install it like this. Now if I show you here the content, you can see here Laravel, and it is created as the Laravel user and Laravel group. So if I go inside this Laravel folder and show you the content, then you can see here all the thing that is related to the Laravel is present over here. But if I come here in the browser and just reload over here by going in the IP address, then we are still seeing this welcome to Nginx. Now let me show you how we can show that Laravel website. So I'll just do here pwd like this, and I'll just copy this directory. Now let me log in as a root user now. So now let me do the changes in that Nginx config file. So I'll say here vi/etc nginx size available and default. Now here in the path, I'll just paste whatever I have copied from that pwd, and I'll add extra public over here because the root of our Laravel project is inside the public folder. So I have to add this public over here as well. And also let me remove this IPv6 address. Now we also need to do some other changes because we are dealing with PHP files in the Laravel. So instead of this index.html and every other thing over here, let us just write index.php. And let me keep this index.html over here, and I'll write here index.php. So it will look first if there is index.html available, and if it is not available, then it will look into this index.php. Suppose let's say at any point of time we want to show something static page in our website, then we can just create index.html file, then it will automatically show that instead of this index.php. So let us keep it. Now what should we write here? So let me go here in the documentation, and I couldn't find that in this 8.x, but if I go here in the 7.x and this installation, then if I just go here at the bottom, then we can see here, we can add this thing. It was provided here in the 7.x, but I couldn't find in the 8.x. So we'll just copy this, and I'll just come here and I'll just paste it over here, and I'll just remove that one. Okay, we have done this, and here also we need to uncomment something. So I'll just go here in the beginning, and I'll just remove this one, and I'll just remove this comment. And one thing that we need to remove is this comment as well as this one. We'll keep every other thing just as it is. And this is all the PHP FVM configuration. So there will be two things. One will be PHP CLI and one will be PHP FVM. The PHP CLI is the PHP that is executed whenever we run PHP on the terminal, and PHP FVM is whenever we visit some page in our website, then it will use the PHP FVM. So this is this one, but we installed PHP version 8.0. So we'll use here PHP version 8.0, not 7.4. Now I'll just click on escape key :W and Q. It will write and quit. So we have updated that configuration file. Now to check whether that configuration is correct or not, we'll just write here sudo nginx-t, and you can see here the syntax is okay, which means everything is good. Now let us reload the Nginx. Sudo service nginx reload. Now if I come here in the browser and just reload this, now we are seeing something that is related to Laravel, which is the stream or the file, and it is saying the permission is denied. So let me show you why is this happening. So here, if I just go to cd/home Laravel and Laravel, and if I just show you the content, then the user and the group over here is, you can see here the user is Laravel and the group is Laravel. But if I show you here all the running processes, which is PHP, then you can see here it is running as data user. So because of that, it is showing us permission denied. Now let us change this data to Laravel. So let us go to this etc php 8.0 fpm poold config file, and let me just go to the bottom, and you can see here user is and group is . So now let us change this. So here we'll say Laravel, and here also we'll say Laravel like this, and we'll just write and exit. Now we have done changes in the PHP FPM configuration, then we need to restart that as well. So I'll just write here sudo service php 8-fpm restart and hit enter. Now it has started the PHP FPM. Now let me again show you that processes. Now you can see here, we can see this Laravel over here. Before there was data and now here it is Laravel. Now if I come here in the browser and again reload, now you can see here we can successfully see our website. Now we can successfully see our website, but now we also need to configure the databases. Now let's see how to do that. For that we need to install the MySQL. So let me clear it. Now let us install the MySQL server like this. MySQL server is now installed. Now let us see the version of MySQL. And now you can see the MySQL version is 8.0.26. We have installed the MySQL, but we need to secure it as well. So now let us run this command sudo MySQL secure installation like this. Now it is asking me in order to set up this validate password. Since I am just doing it for testing and I'll just remove this droplet after this tutorial, so I'll just hit no, but in your case just type yes and hit enter and just add a very difficult password. So here I'll say no and I'll just add a random password over here, but in your case just add a very difficult password. Now I'll retype the password and hit enter. Remove the anonymous user, yes. Disallow the login remotely, yes. We don't want anyone to remotely log into our MySQL server, but if we want to log in from a specific IP address, then we can set up that. So here we'll say yes and remove the test database, yes. Reload the privileges, yes. So everything is now installed. Now we have to create database and a user in a MySQL as well, and we have to link them together, and we'll use that in our project. Now I'll log into the MySQL server. So here I'll say MySQL -u root -p, and here I'll enter the password that I have used whenever I ran the MySQL secure password installation. So I have successfully logged in. Now let me create a database. So here I'll say create database Laravel_db, and if I run show databases, then you can see here Laravel DB has been created successfully. Now I'll create a user and the username will be Laravel_user @localhost, which means it is inside this server and identified by a password. This is the actual password of the user, but in your case you must write very difficult password over here. The user is also created. Now we have to give permissions to this user to access the database that we have created. So here I'll say grant all privileges on Laravel_db.*. So only to this database we'll give access to this user. Now that's also done. And finally we'll flush the privileges. So this is done. Now let me exit from here. And now let me again log in as that Laravel user. So I'll say su Laravel like this. And if I just show you the list of the files, I am already in this project. So you can see here we have this .env file. I'll just open this .env file and we'll change the data over here. So the database is Laravel_db and the user is Laravel_user and the password is password. Also, one thing that you need to do is whenever you are adding something in the production, just turn this app debug to false. Otherwise, you will lose all the sensitive information that are present in this .env file. And in this app URL also, you need to write the domain that you have. And here app name, you will just write the name of your project, and here in case of local, you will write production. Now let me save it. I'll just click on escape key :WQ. You can see here at the bottom over here. Now here I'll hit enter. Also let me do a config clear one time. And it is saying could not open input file. Oh sorry, the spelling of the artisan is wrong. So I'll say here artisan config clear, and let me also do cache clear. Now if I come here in the browser and just reload, you can see here everything is working just as before. Now if I run php artisan migrate, and you can see here all these users table, password resets and failed jobs tables that are by default present in the Laravel are also now migrated. And now let me show you once again by logging into the MySQL, and here I'll say use Laravel_db and I wrote user. So here I'll say use Laravel_db so tables like this, and you can see here all the tables that are present in this databases are shown over here. So now let me just summarize what we have done in this video. We just created a droplet in our DigitalOcean, then we created SSH key and then logged into that droplet using our terminal using the SSH. Then we installed Nginx and PHP using the PPA, and we saw the default Nginx page whenever we entered the IP address in the browser. Then we installed all the extensions, the PHP extensions that are required to run Laravel. Then we installed Composer. After that, we created a Laravel user and just uses the su command to log in as that user, and then created a new Laravel project over there. And in the Nginx configurable file, we added the path of the new project that we have created and as well as /public in the end, because that is the root of our Laravel project. And then we restarted the Nginx and then reloaded the page, but it showed us permission issues. And we saw that PHP FPM was running as data user and our project was using Laravel user. Then we changed that data user to the Laravel user from the PHP FPM configuration settings, and then we restarted PHP FPM. After that, we were able to see the Laravel default page, and then we installed MySQL and we installed MySQL secure installation, and then we just added the password to the root user of the MySQL. Then we created a database and a user specific to our project, and then added that in our env file and run the PHP artisan migrate. And finally, we saw the list of the tables that were migrated. So this is just the beginning of our journey of adding a project to a live server. There are so many things that you need to learn, guys. So here we haven't added any domain. We are just using the IP address. Then we also need to add the SSL certificate. We also have to look into caching, gzip, HTTP2, so many things that we have to learn. And if I have enough time, then I'll create a tutorial for those as well in the future. So just stay tuned. And that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.